Have you ever wondered where we first found a place to call home? Long before skyscrapers and sprawling cities, our story began in the heart of the wild. The need for shelter is one of our most ancient, most fundamental instincts. A place to stay safe from the cold, the rain, and the lurking dangers of the night. Our earliest ancestors didn't build their homes, they found them. They sought refuge in the deep embrace of caves, under the protective overhang of rock shelters, or within the dense canopies of primeval forests. These natural formations were our first sanctuaries, the very first places we could rest, gather, and simply be. They were more than just holes in a rock. They were the first chapter in the long, incredible story of human ingenuity and our timeless search for a place to belong. This is the story of our first homes. As our ancestors' minds grew sharper and their needs more complex, they began to shape the world around them. Finding a home evolved into building one. This was a monumental leap, a testament to human creativity. Imagine the scene. Early humans, armed with nothing but their hands and rudimentary tools, gathering materials from the land. They learned the strength of wood, the durability of stone, the insulating properties of animal hides, and the binding power of mud and clay. They weren't just randomly piling things up, they were developing techniques. They learned to interlace branches and leaves to create thatched roofs that could shed the rain. They discovered how to stack stones to form sturdy walls, creating barriers against the wind and predators. They stretched and stitched animal hides over wooden frames, crafting lightweight, portable shelters perfect for a nomadic lifestyle. Each material, each method was a lesson learned, a piece of knowledge passed down through generations. These weren't grand architectural feats, but for their time, they were miracles of engineering, born from necessity and perfected through trial and error. They were the first structures built not by instinct, but by intention, the true dawn of architecture. Now, let's step inside one of these ancient dwellings. What was it like to live in a home tens of thousands of years ago? Forget separate rooms and modern comforts. This was a single, communal space, but it was organized with remarkable logic. As we move through this reconstructed shelter, you can see how every corner had a purpose. Over here, near the entrance, is where tools were likely made. The light was best here, perfect for chipping away at flint to create sharp edges for spears and knives. Deeper inside, you'd find the sleeping areas, lined with soft grasses or animal furs for warmth and comfort, a cozy retreat from the harsh world outside. And at the very center, the heart of it all, was the hearth. The fire pit was so much more than a source of heat and light. It was the kitchen, where food was cooked, transforming raw meat and plants into nourishing meals. It was the workshop, where the heat could be used to harden wooden tools or treat materials. The soft, flickering glow of the fire turned a simple shelter into a home, a place of warmth, safety, and community. Every object, every space, tells a story of daily survival and the rhythms of prehistoric life. This central hearth was the gravitational center of family and social life. Picture a small group gathered around the crackling flames after a long day. The fire keeps the darkness at bay, its light dancing on the faces of children listening, wide-eyed, to the stories of their elders. This is where culture was born. Myths, legends, and essential survival knowledge were passed from one generation to the next, not through books, but through the spoken word, shared in the intimacy of the home. It was here that the day's hunt was discussed, plans for tomorrow were made, and social bonds were forged. You would see different members of the family contributing in their own ways. One might be mending a hide, another sharpening a tool, while someone else prepared the evening meal. This shared space wasn't just for a nuclear family. It often housed an extended group, creating a vibrant, cooperative community under one roof. The home was the stage for all of life's dramas: births, deaths, celebrations, and sorrows. It was the crucible where individuals were shaped into a society, learning to live, work, and depend on one another. The warmth of the fire was the warmth of human connection itself. From these humble beginnings, the seeds of civilization were sown. A single shelter, a single hearth, was the first step. But as families grew and groups expanded, one shelter became two, then three, clustered together for mutual protection and cooperation. These small clusters were our first settlements, the ancestors of villages. The lessons learned in building a single home were scaled up, applied to a community. People began to think not just about their family's shelter, but about the layout of their entire living space. They created shared areas, pathways, and defensive structures. This transition from isolated dwellings to organized communities was one of the most significant moments in human history. It laid the groundwork for everything that followed: the development of agriculture, the rise of towns, and eventually, the great cities we live in today. Every time we walk through our front door, we are echoing an act that our ancestors have performed for millennia. The legacy of these first homes is all around us. It's in our desire for community, our need for security, and that deep, enduring feeling of peace we find in the place we call home. Thank you for joining us on this journey back in time. If you found this fascinating, please like, share, and subscribe for more explorations into our incredible past.